In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
The first words of the Bible are some of the most widely recognized. But what if this translation has caused us to miss the point of the verse? What if I told you that there's another perfectly good translation? When God began to create the heavens and the earth. How would that change the way we understand the opening pages of the Bible? Ever since the King James Bible, English speakers recognize the first verse in the Bible as, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth." Most translations of Genesis 1:1 follow the King James precisely because it is so iconic. And if you only read in English, it makes sense, so why question it? But here's where things get interesting. What if I told you that there is another perfectly good translation? One that may even change our understanding of what Genesis 1 is trying to convey. What if I said that instead of "in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth," we could change it to "when God began to create the heavens and the earth"? The issue is whether the opening phrase of the Bible should be taken as an independent clause, something that can stand on its own, in the beginning, or a dependent clause, something that begs for more information to finish the thought, when God began. It leaves you longing to know what happened when God began to create. To know which is preferable, we need to look at the Hebrew. When it was first written, biblical Hebrew did not have vowels. These are the dots and marks you see around the bigger letters. All they had were consonants. As you would expect, there are different ways of saying "in the beginning God" versus "when God began" in Hebrew. The difference is in which marks are around the consonants. The Masoretic text, the authoritative Hebrew text used in most Bible translations, actually has the marks suggesting that Genesis 1:1 might be better understood as when God began to create the heavens and the earth. In this alternative reading, the creation story begins with an unfinished or even chaotic state when God began to create. So instead of a straightforward, all-encompassing beginning, this translation hints at a gradual shaping, with Genesis 1:2 describing the earth as formless and void. So what's the big deal? Well, this changes the nuance of how we understand the creation process described in Genesis. Instead of describing a single point of origin, it might be describing a divine action that unfolds over time. These differences aren't just a linguistic curiosity. They raise questions about how Genesis was originally meant to be understood and how translation choices affect interpretation. It opens up questions like, what does Genesis say about the nature of God and creation? Does it suggest an orderly beginning from nothing? Or does it portray God bringing order to chaos? And that's just scratching the surface. Translational questions like this remind us that Genesis wasn't written in a vacuum. It was written in the ancient Near East, in a world with its own languages, cultures, and stories about creation. Studying Genesis with these contexts in mind can transform our understanding. So why study Genesis academically? Because it allows us to explore these deeper, sometimes hidden meanings. We learn to question our assumptions, dive into the history of the text, and consider the perspective of ancient interpreters. And as we do, we come to more fully understand what God wants us to know about himself and his desire to have a relationship with us. I hope that this quick look at Genesis 1:1 has sparked your curiosity. This is just a glimpse at everything the book of Genesis has to offer. And if you're interested in learning more about these kinds of questions, you can come join us at Anchor Bible College. Also, don't forget to subscribe, drop a comment below. What are your thoughts on this alternate translation? I'd love to hear from you.